I'm Tim Riddle from Discover Blind Spots, where we believe what you don't see can actually hurt you. We're in the middle of a video series and we're focusing on the fruit values listed in Galatians chapter 5. This week we're focusing on the fruit of gentleness and how that might apply to our leadership in the marketplace. It was the summer of 1977. I was 17 years old and right in the middle of my summer junior tennis tournament series. During the summers, I played in various tournaments throughout the Southeast, and this weekend, it just happened to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was close to my home in Kings Mountain. My opponent was from Charlotte. I'll never forget him because it seemed that we always played each other in the later rounds of tournaments, and I never beat him. For some reason, he had my number, and to be honest, he was probably better than me. My parents always traveled to watch me play. This day was no different, and they drove to Charlotte and set up on a hill at the edge of the court, which gave them the best vantage point to watch the match. They would always bring their folding chairs and sit quietly and watch. Now back to the match. It was during the first set, and the score was close. I came to the net to hit a winning volley, and I dumped the ball right into the net. It was a critical point, so I was pretty frustrated. As the ball slowly bounced back to me from the net, I slammed it back into the net 2 or 3 times as hard as I could. I also loudly expressed my frustration for missing the shot. After my little emotional breakdown, I grabbed the ball, slowly walked back to the baseline to serve. At that point, I remembered my parents sitting up on the hill, and I wondered how they might react to my little outburst. I bounced the ball a few times to get ready to serve, and just before I tossed it up, I glanced up on the hill to where they were sitting. I noticed they were now standing and folding their chairs and then slowly walked to the car. Needless to say, that devastated me, and it didn't take long for my opponent to finish me off again. After the match, I got in my car and drove home. When I got home, I walked into the den where my father was sitting in his usual chair watching TV. I sat down in the chair beside him and nothing was said for a long time. I could tell he was not happy. After a while, I decided to break the silence and said, "Hey, Dad, I saw you and Mom leave the match." He said, "Yes," to confirm my observation. After what seemed like an eternity, I said, "Is everything okay?" He then turned and looked me right in the eye and said in a very gentle voice, "If we ever see you do something like that again, we will never come to another match." That, my friend, made a profound impact on me. Now, at first glance, you might think gentleness is being meek and mild and passive, but actually it's quite the opposite. You could translate the original Greek word for gentleness to mean power and strength under control, just like my father that particular day. Do you demonstrate power and strength under control in your leadership? If not, you might want to consider adding the fruit of gentleness.